Welcome back to this series on raising a prayer shield. In the previous session, we looked at what exactly a prayer shield is, the biblical foundations for it, and why we need that in our lives. And today, we will continue to study, especially now, look and see how you can raise a prayer shield over your family and the schools in your community in the next session. So we said that there is literally a spiritual hedge of protection that was around Job and his family because of his daily fervent prayers. He just prayed and covered everything, whether he knew what they exactly were doing wrong or right or not. So Satan could not penetrate through that. What if your prayers could create a shield or a hedge around your family? Something unseen but powerful enough to guard their hearts, their minds, and even your physical home. It is absolutely possible. Remember, it's not about having the perfect words or long prayers. It's simply about being consistent, intentional, and praying with faith in your heart. When you take time each day to pray for your family by name, when you continually speak God's promises over them and invite His presence into your home, the Lord looks at your heart and He sets up a shield or a hedge of protection over and around them. Praying like Job is one of the most powerful ways to love your family. So how do you do it? Number 1, daily prayer and intercession. You pray consistently on a daily basis for your family members by name, and you pray for them for their physical protection, their emotional protection, and their spiritual needs, and of course their health, their emotional stability, and their protection from abuse or from trauma or anything that challenge them on this level throughout the day in their interaction with other people. And then also for their spiritual life, to grow in their relationship with the Lord, to feel His love, to understand His calling on their life, and to grow in their spiritual gifts. Secondly, you declare God's promises. You can speak and pray Bible verses over your family. For example, Psalm 91 is a very well-known one, Isaiah 54, verse 17, for them to have victory. Also, try and remember, did God give you any words for your family? You can pray these promises over them. And also, do your children have specific gifts? You can pray for these gifts to grow in them on a daily basis. Does your spouse have a specific challenge at work? Pray for God's promises over them and a breakthrough. Then number 3, also a controversial one sometimes, is to anoint your home. I know there are many wrong ways of doing this, but when we do it with the right heart's attitude, it pleases the Father and has a lot of value. Remember, there is not power in the physical oil itself. However, the oil is a biblical outward physical sign and symbol of our faith in action in the spiritual realm. So though I do it here in the natural realm, when I do it, it manifests something in the spiritual atmosphere. I can't see it, but that is what is happening. When you do it with your heart, set on the Lord as your protector, not on the devil to get rid of him. Do you hear that difference? God hears you when you pray with a heart set towards Him, and He raises that shield of protection over you. You can anoint the doorposts, and you can ask for God's protection over everyone and everything going in and out of the door of your house. Do something from a position of fear of what can happen to your family is not what we are focusing on here. Then it will just become a religious activity. We do it with a heart set on the Lord and trusting in Him. Number 4 is for you and your family to pray in unity. If it is possible, gather your family for praying together. And that reinforces that spiritual covering. Because it says, where two or more agree in prayer and in the name of Jesus, there he is in their midst. Matthew 20 verse 18. But perhaps your family is not open yet to gather to pray together, or there is not necessarily unity like you would want them to be in unity. What can you do then? See if you can individually pray with them on a regular basis and keep on trusting the Lord until it becomes possible eventually to pray together as a family. Number 5, fasting and deeper intercession. You can also set aside times to fast and pray for breakthroughs and divine intervention. Sometimes a family member goes through a difficult time, like a specific sickness, or they are just in outward rebellion or deception, or there are addictions or other struggles. As a family, you can stand around them in prayer for a breakthrough. I have seen the powerful impact of a family fasting and praying for 40 days for one young lady who was struggling a lot. And the Lord gave them the breakthrough. And today, this young lady is in full-time ministry. And that is because her family stopped for 40 days to pray until they saw a breakthrough. This brings us to number 6, and that is to guard your home spiritually. Be mindful of what enters your home. For example, media influences. If possible, create a continuous atmosphere of worship by putting on some worship music or so on, and invite others to pray with you. The next topic we will cover is how to raise a prayer shield over the schools or university our children attend. So do not miss out on them as we meet again next week.